Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Kevin Radio. Hope everyone's having a really good week. Hey Miguel, how are you?
Good, good. How's it going? Everything is great. Up with you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just like I was saying earlier, actually, with the GU guys, I've been working on Chris all day. So I'm like, it's like blue sky, it's like 25 degrees, and I am doing a jolly festive tea party menu for a hotel. I'm like, what the hell? Santa's jolly afternoon tea. So that is like the weirdest thing because you do everything so far
Yeah.
ahead. And actually they're a little bit behind on that, but yeah.
So you're creating like the whole thing for them? Like I guess what is it exactly that you're making for them?
Yeah, so I have so they're a collection of hotels actually.
Oh,
So they basically I work with there's so many different brands. There's probably like maybe 7 brands within this collection, and they're all very different, and I tend to look after certain ones. So
yeah.
they generally will say to me, "Oh, we've got an event, can you come up with a campaign, a concept, visual concept?" And I do a little bit of writing as well, like a little bit of like top line stuff, strap line or a clever heading or something, but I wouldn't write the copy. They've got a copywriter for that. But yeah, so that's what I do. So they wanted like a fun kids jolly Santa afternoon tea kind of concept, which
Oh.
I was kind of fun to do, but yeah, not in July. It feels wrong. It just feels wrong.
I feel hot just thinking about tea right now.
I know, yeah. So it's like actually they have like it was really I was thinking, oh my god, I am just a giant kid, like chocolate fountains with marshmallows and like endless supplies of ice cream and stuff. I was reading it going, oh, I could be down for that. Can I be under 12? So like yeah, it's fun. So that's been my day, has been fully Christmas, which is
Crazy.
weird. Very weird.
How things been? I've been seeing you very active on X lately. You on Spaces,
Yeah.
doing all sorts of
Yeah, I've been
things.
trying to jump in spaces a little bit more because, I sort of it's hard to juggle, isn't it? And I held a space on Monday, so I'm gonna do that regularly every Monday. I'm gonna do a
Oh,
magical Monday space, 4 p.m. my time, which would be 12 p.m. EST, I think. Yeah, I think
12
so. Yeah,
12 a.m.
PM in the lunchtime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Midday. Let's call it midday. No confusion. So yeah, so we did that. We had a little, and actually I thought, oh, I'll just do a little hour space. And actually we did 2 hours and Scooja came on. Do you remember we had Scooja
Yeah,
on as a
yeah.
guest? Scooja was me and Scooja was shooting the shit and it was kind of cool. And Danny as well. So all the guys we've had on for interviews were hanging out and it was just really nice. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool. I
yeah,
missed it.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was good.
I've been
Uh,
super busy lately, like super busy.
well, you've got a lot going in the back, haven't you? Kind of,
Yeah. A lot in the background happening. A
yeah,
lot.
which is exciting.
Yeah. We're almost getting ready to release the portal for Ape.
Oh,
We were
wow.
talking to our developer side today, and he's almost there. There's a few kinks because we've been testing ourselves in the background. That's what we're doing. There's been a few kinks, but nothing crazy. So we just want to remember. I want to make sure that we're like 1,000% right because people can lose an NFT trying to migrate to a
Yeah,
different chain, right? So I want to
yeah.
make sure we're like 110% right for this. It's got to be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, no, you want it to it's best not to rush these things, isn't it? I
Yeah,
feel
no,
like
I don't rush anything. You know how I do.
yeah.
I don't. I take my
No, I know that. You're very I
yeah,
mean, me and Fraser,
very
that's
careful.
it's a pressure though, isn't it? Like, once you've put an
Yeah,
idea out there and people start asking. I remember even going into spaces, I think I allowed us to be pressured a little bit because you'd go in and people would be like, "Are you minting?" I'm like, "No, not yet." And we kind of didn't want to put a date on it. And then you start feeling the pressure to kind of, to kind of mint. And then you're like,
yeah,
in hindsight, you think, oh, damn, I wish I'd left it longer. But at the time, it feels like people want to push the button. So you're like, it's that's a tricky thing about Web3. Everyone wants to move so quick.
everybody wants to move a mile a second. And I mean, I understand that the space moves very fast, but I like to take my time and do things right.
Yeah, no, I think you're right too, definitely, for sure. But yeah, and shout out to the GU guys who were listening. I was in their space earlier. They
Yeah,
made me
shout out to
feel
Gio.
very welcome, and
Shout out to
Whoopi
Zero. Zero's in the audience out there. He's
yeah, and Whoopi did like the best like shill I've ever heard in a witch. Like he has got that down, all the key
yeah,
key points. He does it so well. I think he's a proper voiceover guy. So yeah, that was a nice space. It was good
Uh,
to hang out with him.
that's good. So who do we have today?
So we have Mark, lovely Mark. So Mark is so he has his own streaming show where he showcases artists and whole communities. So the
Oh
FCW
wow.
we've been on as a community. So I think there was 6 or 7 of us. We had like little 15-minute slots each. So he does the Hour of Power, which is really cool. But he's also a super talented photographer. So I was like, right, you're going to come on and talk about your art for a change.
Yeah,
So
it's always exciting to hear about other perspectives in art, right? Like
yeah,
every time we have an artist, I just get excited about it.
yeah, I know. I was trying my best recently there's an artist I really want to come on, but she's really shy. I'm working on her. I won't say who because I
Those
don't
are
want
the
to put
best ones.
pressure on her. But I was like, I know you would lose your shit if you saw her stuff. She's so talented. So I'm working on her quietly.
Yeah. What's funny, the other day I was talking about my art with somebody, and they were like, "Oh, you do art?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I've got a whole collection.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Of course we do art. Yeah, you're really talented. Like some of your little side collections are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I
working
love
on
the
something
little
else. I mean, I'm still working because we're still doing the kimonos. I wanted to do like a whole collection of kimonos, but these are overlays
yeah.
for like the ants. So you guys will be able to go in and like, switch the kimonos
Dress
around.
Oh,
And
that's
the other thing that I want to do is I've been creating like weapons. So you're gonna see more weapons as an overlay, but the overlay is gonna be in the background, which is a little difficult to do, but I'm
okay.
working
So
on it.
I guess you have to cut the silhouette from the weapon, do you? So
Yeah,
it kind of
yeah, you have
lays
to
on
get it
top.
just right,
Yeah.
especially because some of the kimonos might be a little higher, a little lower, so you get like the actual distance between the weapon and the body like perfectly.
Yeah. I had this
That'll work.
issue with some you can see on the side, like some of my Lunar Witches that have like the magic numbers.
Yeah,
The order in which I had to layer them was really awkward and I had to sort of cut them slightly.
yeah,
Yeah. It gave me a lot of headaches, that did.
yeah. I have like I'm not gonna lie, I have like 200 different kimonos by now,
Oh god.
but
You've got a wardrobe.
I can't
You've got
stop
a whole
making them.
shop.
But, I think I'm gonna stop now. I think I'm gonna stop now at 200.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, that's
almost
like
close.
me. I'm obsessed with dolls. Like, I just need to stop drawing them right now.
Yeah.
'Cause
It's like
I'm just
sometimes I
like,
sit down with the iPad and I'm just drawing a kimono for no reason now. It's like the
just
thing that happens now.
what we wanna see, though, is you actually come onto the show wearing one. That
You know
that
what?
would
That would be
be like
funny. Don't give Kevin
you'd be like,
ideas.
just rock
I
up.
hope
We
Kevin's
just
not listening. He's gonna go and buy me a kimono. I can feel it already.
oh,
I
there's
can
one in
feel
the post. I'm ordering you one.
it. Yeah.
Oh,
Plus, I'm
cool.
also working on, the collection number 3 for Rebel Lands.
Number 3? I thought we were at number 2.
We are on number 2, but number 3, it's basically my PFP. I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody
okay, we've
knows it
talked about
yet, but my PFP is actually, Rebel Land V3.
yeah.
But that's
They
not
were
gonna be released anytime soon. I'm really taking my time with this. Like, you've seen some previews. I've sent you some
yeah,
previews, and those
it's
look
a lot more
really
detailed.
detailed. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm really taking my time. Each one is very, very detailed. And I
yeah,
stopped doing it for a while, so now I gotta get back on it. I mean, I have a lot of the attributes already done. Um, yeah, I'll send you some pictures.
yeah, send me some more. I'm always, like, nagging people to send me I
Yeah,
love being the first to see something. So childish. I'm like,
yeah.
"I wanna be first."
The thing is that we have much going on with V2 now that I don't wanna release V3
No,
anytime
no, no,
soon.
no.
Like, that's gotta be, like, way down the line. I'm thinking about, like, maybe December or maybe next year sometime. I don't know yet. We'll
Yeah,
see. See
cool.
what
That'd be
happens.
cool. Oh, well, let's get Mark on if he's ready. I'm gonna just add him to the scene and then transition across. Well, hello, Mark.
Hello, hello.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
How are you?
I'm watching the show and now I'm a part of it. But
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I say I put a lot of work into my show, but Vic, you got things going. You got and Miguel, you guys got things going on. You got chat going on. You got. I feel completely out of date right now looking at you guys. You're using some type of streaming software I never heard of before. So yeah, good job. I remember when Vic told me she was going to around with something. I mean, this is way past tinkering, but a pleasure to be here. And thank you for having.
Oh no, I'm so pleased you agreed. I know I cornered you actually face to face in New York. I was like, oh, come on my show.
No, I mean you got some. This is a classy little show going on here. You got screens and different things.
We're very classy.
We are classy.
We're very classy and professional.
Not this classy over on the Hour of Power.
So. Oh no, it is. Although I caught a glimpse of myself just now, and I'm like, I look a little bit like Cousin It. I feel like my eyes are disappearing behind my behind my fringe. I'm really rocking the creepy right now. So it's fine. I need a trim. But yeah. So how are you? How's tell us a little bit, like you always do this. Give us a little introduction to yourself for people. This is what you do. I know. For people who don't know who you are you?
Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Let everybody know who you are.
That's exactly what you do. I've been watching. I'm like literally trying to master your technique of interviewing.
Okay. I guess a jack of many traits, without a doubt. I guess what a lot of people on X know me for is the HOP, the Hour of Power, which is a show that's been streaming over 9 years now. But X has only been introduced to it in the last year. A little bit about my background. I was a professional caddy. I was a professional carpenter, mechanical engineer, filmmaker, professional photographer. I also did a lot of graphic design in between then. And then I had a coral farm.
Coral farm?
Yeah.
I didn't know that one. That's new on me.
Sounds pretty interesting. I want to know about that.
Coral farm.
Yeah,
where did you have a coral farm?
I should be wearing my sweatshirt right now. Shit, it's so hot in here. Oh, it's right there. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll put that on when we start talking about that.
Okay.
So, and then I guess right around when I put the coral selling to bed or the coral growing to bed, I decided that I was going to wander into fine arts. And on that journey, I did a stop off at NFTs. And so that's how I got to meet Vic. That's how we got here. But I'm sure I'm missing some things in all of that. But they come out in conversation. You know what I mean? So.
Oh my goodness. So was it your photography that brought you into NFTs? Like, was it that, or was it more, like you said, fine art?
I came across the Beeple news. Well, no. All right. I got to be honest here. I was floating on Twitter fighting for something that I believe in. And all of a sudden, the Beeple news came down the timeline. About somebody made a sale for JPEGs or something for 69.3 million NFTs. And I didn't know exactly what it was. That was the first time I kind of heard of it. I was very familiar with crypto because I was trading crypto back in 2016, 2017.
Nice.
So that's kind of what, the timeline, that's what grabbed my attention. And then I was like, what's these NFTs? And then landed me in Spaces, and then listening to Spaces and hearing a lot. I was trying to like really narrow down the success. And there was very few spaces a lot of spaces were shit shows, but like, I'm trying to like get the information. And, you could be in a very good space and nobody wants to give you information. Raise your hand, go up on stage. They don't want to share some secrets. But I started noticing that photographers were having a lot of luck selling, especially a few that I followed. And then not only having luck selling, but they were they were walking themselves into a few of them were walking themselves into the fine art world, which is what I spent the last 6 years running around, knocking on gallery doors for. So I said, hey, you know what? Let me see what this NFT stuff is all about. And then that got me focused on PFP projects. I was in spaces like every day trying to learn how to mint. And, that's how, and then, so everybody's like, when are you going to post your art? And I still don't feel comfortable because I feel that I wanted to, I had a fan base at one point. I had a nice following, a lot of supporters, like about, I want to say 160 to 180,000. But on MySpace, hang on, don't woo yet. It was MySpace 15 years ago. I have to recreate magic. So, but I did it back then. And you know what I say? Once you do it, I think you could, it's like riding a bike, just got to do it again. And I lost that following. And so right from there, I was like, I didn't feel comfortable showing art no more because I feel like everything gets lost on the timeline. So I said, how can I enter the space and bring something cool, or at least be a part of it or help support it? And then I had this show sitting over on Facebook. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let's bring this HOP show over. Let's get some, let's interview. Can we curse on here? I don't want to say.
Yeah, you're like,
let's interview some fucking artists. You know what I mean? Like, I know all these awesome people in spaces, and like here I got this show over here. I'm absolutely nothing with. It's on Dead Book, dying. It's like me and 3 of my friends that are on there, like, what's up? What's up? And I was like, you know what? Let's go over to X and bring on some NFT artists and let's see what happens. And so at least I felt like I was contributing to the space and growing the space. And then people seem to be very receptive of the show. So, that's kind of how I landed in NFTs. And I've yet to, no, it's not true. I minted 1 or 2 things, but I have yet to really take it seriously when it comes to minting or releasing a collection. Or there's so much in my head, I don't know where to start. So, but the show's moving. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, you're a huge, like, I think that's how I know you was from the show and in being in spaces. I think it was probably with like Phantom and those girls, and like, you're so supportive of artists and their journey and sharing. And I feel like it's quite unique. There's not many spaces that kind of give artists that airtime.
Yeah, man. I mean, I am an artist,
Yeah.
I know how difficult it is to promote yourself or talk about yourself.
Oh yeah.
So I just fill in the gap. I invite somebody on and I fill in the gaps. I just bridge the quiet moments. And you guys know. I mean, you gotta get somebody comfortable. You gotta get them going, and then like once you get them going, you bridge. And then you can make sure there's no silent time, keep everything entertaining, but for the most part it's all about them. I say it every show, especially when I find myself in a story. I'm like, Mark, less about me, more about you. Like, less about me, more about them. You know what I mean? And then it immediately goes into like, we're here for you. And so I'm just there to get them going, and I know how difficult it could be, and I guess I got a little talent with this show. So it was like, you know what? Let's bring some, and then I guess a few sketch saw super community, and she was like, let's do community shows, and I was like, 6 artists in 2 hours and a community leader, like, I don't know if we could pull that off. That's 15 minutes per person, and to this day, FCW still holds one of the greatest community shows, I feel.
Oh, thank you. We all loved being part of that. I think that's what, I think most artists, like you say, feel super uncomfortable about sharing. And I think that's what you're really good at, is making people feel comfortable. And it's surprising what people open up about as well. Like, and the stuff you learn, even about, like when you interviewed Frisky, and I'm like friends with him, we hang out in spaces or in the chat, and there was stuff about his life that I just didn't know. And it's so, even like when it's somebody you think you know quite well, you're really good at like extracting. It's like you should,
I'm a digger.
Yeah, you are a digger.
So, if you flip up or and on top of it, I've been in the social media game since the days of like the very first platforms.
Oh, you mentioned MySpace, huh?
Yeah, it's like the well before MySpace. It was One Model Place and Model Mayhem, and that's where all of us photographers hung. That was like kind of like the original post on each, and then Space came, and we were like, "Whoa, this is the world," And it's like, "All right, let's move over there." And then Facebook came right behind MySpace. But I was so disgruntled about losing 180 following that I had built up for 3 years. I didn't want to go back
That's
to
crazy.
social media.
Yeah.
And you do film too, or no?
I do, yeah. So I was an engineer, and then that's kind of like, I don't want to get into one of those like, my parents type thing. Every artist has issues with something going on there, and I don't want to be another one. But
So we like to hear those background stories because that's
my-
where the true art comes from.
That is exactly that.
some stuff I can't say. I'd get a lot of
hear that.
people in trouble. My father is very blunt, and so they didn't really. My parents were not firm believers in. I think I could be a great. You know how many directors are in the world?
Yeah.
And how many that make it, and it's just like my brother always. Well, I think I could be a professional baseball player. You know how many professional baseball players? I was in one of those families, and it was just like, and so, all right, and what's your thoughts? An engineer, of course, and it's a lawyer, and
Oh no, my dad was a solicitor, so he wanted me to be a solicitor. He was like, that's what you wanted me to do. So when I was like, I want to do art, and I can't remember what the other subject. One of them was religious studies, because I just found the philosophy side of it really interesting. And he was like, oh my God, he was like literally having a nervous breakdown. But I did become an artist.
Yeah.
There
For me,
we go.
my mother was very open to doing whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah, my mum was as well. My mum was super supportive like that. But yeah. So is anyone in your family creative like you, or is it just are you like the anomaly?
My brother's a very good musician.
Is he?
He's very focused. He at one point in his life he was very focused on EDM and electronic music.
Love.
And he's produced and sang and record, and he was really on top of the tech. He ended up being one of Puerto Rico's top DJs. He had a residency down there, so I mean, he did very well with the music. He was also a very talented guitar player.
Oh wow!
My mother, she did arts and crafts. She's the one who came into school. And everybody, we have Mrs. Morrow here today, and Mrs. Morrow is, and then she had the whole class putting together these styrofoam snowmen.
Oh, wicked!
Yeah, so my mom was a very arts and crafts, and she did these. I mean, there was always some arts and crafts, but it was nobody ever was a professional artist.
Yeah.
Nobody ever. So a lot of my grandfather he was a professional golfer, and he actually became a caddy master. And let's see, my grandmother, but then he was also a mailman. So it was like, it's work. You work hard, you make a hard living, and you get a solid job that you could depend on, and that's the type of, and artist was not one of those things. It was like, I think I could direct movies. So, it was. I'm not. They were never. My mother was never. They were never discouraging, but it was like, what? Get yourself something solid in the background.
Yeah.
And go nuts.
Fall back on. That's what they always say, innit?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So then, it's. So that's where the engineering part came from. But engineering really taught me to think very logically, and then and then I always say this, I never minored. It's 3 credits away from psychology. I loved psychology, so I minored. I tried to take as many psychology classes as possible.
So that does not surprise me about you at all. Knowing
this is why you go in on people when you're interviewing them.
I know, because you are like, it's like you're like military trained in extracting information.
Oh, I get
it.
Although Alex did accuse me of that last week. He said he felt a bit grilled. I was like, well, I don't mean to. He was almost giving away all his secrets of future stuff, and I was like, no, it's fine.
Well,
but yeah,
some of your artwork.
Yeah, let me share. So did you study photography, or are you self-taught, or like?
No. So I okay. There's two parts to that question. So
Okay.
I learned filmmaking professionally through class. Like I learned
Right.
Oh
about
wow.
cameras, um, so Aeroflex 16, Aeroflex 35s, Panavisions. So when you go to film school, they teach you how to rig up, rig down, and I was very good at rigging the cameras. But I learned a lot of that film theory from that. I
Yeah.
learned a lot about lighting. So film had so film has constant lights or natural lights, where photography has strobe. And so if you ever knew me when I was really shooting, I never shot strobe. I never learned strobe. And so people would always be like, I don't understand how you lighten this shit. And I'd be like, I don't know, man. I'm just, and I was really good at lighting things in film school. Everybody wanted me to come be their grip and light their scenes
Oh
because I would
wow.
always use this very dramatic lighting. And I yeah, so I carried that over into the photography. I remember I was editing everyone's. So I had an issue with. So when you go to school, it's NYU, they only had this one main editing suite, and you only had 1 hour to edit your film on it. So it was aggravating because by the time to get started to edit your film, someone's already knocking on the door. So then I decided I was going to take my engineering money and I made my own editing system.
Oh wow.
And so I created this $15,000 computer that used everything that everyone ever said you couldn't do, like Adobe Premiere, no, terrible. Never going to be able to get an EDL or an electronic edit list out of it. And no, can't Canopus. Like, what are you kidding me? That's a mini DV car. But I just followed the engineering theory behind the print numbers on the film. And I was just, it's just logic. Like, so as long as all the coding and the when you bring it into Photoshop, you got to bring it in the right way.
Yeah.
Premiere,
Yeah.
and then you would apply an edit list to it. And so I got the whole thing to work. And then I figured out how to edit from my bedroom. And so I
Wow.
edited my whole thesis film from my bedroom. And then all the filmmakers found out. And I was like, well, just come edit. That's how I became an editor in film. And so I
Oh
started
cool.
editing
Wow.
everybody's movies from the corner of my bedroom. And they were like, no, 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 and I would charge so cheap because professional edit houses would charge 125 an hour just to use the Avid. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, I found a way, and
Come in, sit on the bed.
I'm like, we could edit all night long and it'll cost nothing, It's just pay for my hard drive, you know what I mean? Like, and so I figured out how to edit and I started editing everyone's films. And then what really got me into the industry is I was editing all of my actor friends, all of their edit reels, their actor reels. And when I was editing their edit reels, as an actor, every actor has to have they call it a reel, like
Yeah.
you submit a reel. The casting directors look at the reel, and if they like the parts that you did, so all the actors start. And this is funny because if all these actors are, they're pretty. They went pretty far. They all of these guys did their own thing. So they're right now they're very established in the film industry. And but I edited all their actor reels when we were all young, and so I remember. But he was telling me like Denzel called me, and I'm like, what? And this was like back when Denzel was just becoming Denzel. So it was like, but he was still Denzel.
So cool.
And he was like, you got to put me on the phone with the guy who edited your reel because that guy just got you this job, And so then all the actors started coming. I started editing all their reels. And I was like, you got photos? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, bring some photos.
So
And
cool.
this guy, Jeremy, used to shoot them. He shoot film. And then I used to look at these photos that they used to bring me, and I'd be like, these photos are incredible. Who's shooting these photos? The best photos I've ever seen. This kid, Jeremy Pascal. And I went down into the city to meet him. And right then and there, it was like, okay, we're shifting. I'm doing photography. Because I could produce so much more through the camera
Yeah.
with one photo than I ever could do a film. With a film and the editing and cinematography and budgets. And I was like, I bet you I can make some noise with a camera. And so the minute I picked up a camera, I applied my film lighting to my photography, which is something, you know,
you can see that. You can see it has a cinema quality to it.
Yeah,
The
that's really good.
lighting. It's just.
yes.
Is it predominantly like people? What's the word? I mean, life subjects rather than like landscapes or like cityscapes and things like that. Is it portraits you prefer, or?
So I have a saying: a great photographer can shoot anything, and I generally love to shoot anything. I can shoot wildlife. I can shoot landscape. I could shoot really good product.
What's your favorite? Like, what's your favorite thing to shoot?
Okay, so okay.
Pick one. No, you don't have to.
So either I'm a huge fan of, for some reason, beautiful women.
Oh, I wonder why.
And wait, and there's
I didn't get that impression at all from your portfolio.
There's a flip side to that coin. Different color hairs, ink, art, great art. But I also love as equally as much the hip hop industry.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot. I can see that influence here. Like, so do you shoot a lot of musicians then? And like,
back in the day, yeah. So when I was doing this full time, oh shit, Swiss Beats, John Legend.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Who else is in there? Oh my God, there's so many at that time period. Mario, Brown. I'm probably forgetting a lot. Jennifer Lopez, but she didn't like the photos, so she deleted them. So I can't even. But there was a time where I was covering a project. It was called instead of drop bombs, drop peace. It was called a peace project, and they were trying to recreate the new We Are the World, and so I had landed the job of doing all the film shots for it. And so they were bringing in all of these artists. I got a chance to meet all these artists and shoot them. And then that kind of led to me working with magazines and doing editorial layouts. And then that's when everybody started discovering my glamour shots. And then the glamour shots is when I was doing, I don't know. To me, like doing something normal. So I'm a very creative person. So I like lighting. I like messing with sets, and and it just got to a point where like some of my ideas were like, I need a budget. Like and magazines don't have budgets. Magazines are trying to pay you, and you do your job and come back to them with the prints. And so and now the way everything's going, it's so, I was a very creative photographer, and I lent a lot of that to the industry, and that's what people started seeing. That's what caused the frenzy, because it was like, he doesn't just shoot regular. He does themes. He does lots of different things, and so that's I'll always try to keep it very creative, whether it was lighting or outside. But yeah, there's nothing. You know what? I'm not going to say just beautiful. Like I just something that I really captures my eye, or an attitude or swag, and it doesn't have to necessarily be just women. Obviously, that's appeals to me.
The best attitudes too.
Yeah, it's just something about. Oh, Serious Jones. There you go. He's very doing very well right now. So to me, it's like, I don't know. It's like you watch a film and you always remember that great scene. One of my biggest inspirations was Jonathan Mann. And he used to shoot all the covers for all the hip hop artists. back when they're out, like he had the famous Biggie shot, he had the famous Pun shot. He had a lot of different. He shot the DMX shot where DMX is in the tub with the blood.
For the album.
Yes,
Yeah,
very.
cool. Yeah.
So you think back, right? You think back to this. Okay, give me a famous DMX shot. Give me a famous Biggie shot. Give me a famous Big Punch. Chances are you're going to name and think of Jonathan Mannion's shot. And so when I started putting together, it was like, I want to create epic shots.
Yeah.
You know, like I want people to remember that artist because of that photo. Like that's, and then I was like, I could do this. And then that started translating to a lot of influencers. And I instantly looked at the women and I saw how much more attention they were getting online. And I was a second.
Yeah.
You know,
no, it's the attitude of these is really, really cool. They're very memorable. They tell a story, don't they? You know, it's not just like a normal, regular portrait of someone just looking nice. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
What's the most challenging like project you've tackled, photography wise?
Trying to shoot the artist's work at NFT NYC without being booted out. That's one.
I'll tell you what, I actually pulled that off quite nicely. I'm there till the very last. I was literally, my nails on the wall.
I know.
I have my phone. Let me get one more. You know, as they're yanking me out of there. So I had to shoot. A. You know what? I'm gonna generic this. Anytime I had to work with a very high profile, that's very nerve wracking because they don't come to the shoot the way I come to the shoot. To me, it's like I need 6 hours, 8 hours. We're gonna get what we're looking for. It takes some time, and a lot of the higher profile. So everybody is not camera ready.
Yeah.
I've only seen so many people right off the bat be, camera ready. And there's a flow between a photographer and a subject. And you say the smallest thing, do the smallest thing, smallest face. You can make the small. You could be looking at the back of the camera and be like, and there's whoever's watching and to take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's very sensitive.
Yeah.
It's a bit. They're very image conscious, right?
Yeah.
And so the trust is in the person shooting. And if I told you that I could move a light, maybe 15 degrees and ruin your life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever saw that Seinfeld episode with she looks good in this light, but this light over here, and it's the shot, and that's no bullshit. You can move that light around and who's this?
It's like unrecognizable.
Yeah, right. You could bring out the shadows. Let me tell you. So I could be, your best friend or your worst enemy. So in a shoot, you got to find the right lighting. You got to find the right trust, and then you got to make sure they're. And when usually it comes to high profile clients, we got 45 minutes. We got an hour, and I'm like, oh God, like that's, and. So someone like David LaChapelle or Annie Leibovitz, who are probably known as
my God, they're two of my favorite photographers. Like I've got big coffee table books of theirs. Yeah.
So I both of those guys position themselves in the industry to $180,000 a day.
My Christ.
And maybe even more. But they run a set like a film set. And that was always the big difference. Like when I was working with who I was working with on, I was trying to apply the film set that I knew to the photography that I was creating. And that didn't fit in that. It was like, let's just go up to the roof and shoot. And I'm like, the fuck? I need to test the lighting. I got to like, what are we just gonna run? And then I went back to my roots, and it was just like, all right, we're gonna run and gun. Like, we'll just go outside. Like, that's it. And I'll just but I still produced great image. I mean, I was used to that, but like, it's not what I want. I have ideas like every artist does, and it's like, you want to apply an idea, you have someone, you want the time. And so those guys, that's, they set up a film set day, and they're there, and the person comes there, and they get in the wardrobe, makeup, and their whole day is doing this. And so I never had that luxury. No. So that's where, things started to get really difficult, because I had big budget ideas. I needed time, and I never got to that level of, those guys got to that level of, to be able to call the shots.
Yeah.
And you pay some to come, and, you're paying them for the whole day. It's not, all right, we got 45 minutes, an hour, let's go. And, that's probably the most challenging time. Sorry.
I can
As a photographer that you are for such a long time, and you've seen so much things evolve and change with technology, like, how do you feel about AI nowadays?
It ain't me. It ain't me. However, I will say this: if you are not playing with AI focal length, okay, so number one, if you want to be a photographer, AI is the best place to, like, you can literally learn focal lengths, lighting, because you have to write it in the prompts. And that's a big part of, learning the lighting, and guess what? You're not doing it on a clock. You're not doing it, you're not testing. As a photographer, test. What's this light do? What's this light do? It's you sit there and just prompt away. You're not really doing anything. But to pick that up in the mind, I think that's going to translate very well to the set. Like, you're going to immediately know, like, let me put this light here. Let me try that. Oh, look, there it is. Right. So, like, that I had to learn on the fly. I had to learn through practice. I had to learn through shooting. So I think that's a huge benefit.
Yeah. Even Lightroom now is cleverer with the Lightroom filters, that it's got like AI Lightroom. Like, I'm amazed at what I can take through my iPhone and then just pop into Lightroom, and like kind of get a pretty decent enough for me for my for my Instagram, for my products and stuff. I got a little light box, so it's well lit. I take it with my little Nikon, and then I just pop it in my iPhone and use Lightroom.
Right. Right. It's come that you can't really say that the tech, there was a time where people were like, well, I don't have a Canon lens, so how's the industry going to respect me? Like, that's out the window. Like, your camera phone is this Samsung. I just got the 25. I mean, this camera on this phone is I will be quicker to pull out my phone and then my professional camera, and it's like, it's too good. It's good. It films good. It films low light, and it's you could learn through all of this shit you have around you now. Yeah. By the time you get that professional camera, right, you're already like, I didn't have that
years away. Yeah. With your own camera on your phone, it's crazy.
It is crazy. It was the other day in training class with a dog. They had a woman with a proper camera there, and she was shooting with a light. And I snapped with my phone, bobbed it into my Lightroom, and was able to get them the shot for their website that she can get on a proper camera, because she didn't have the lighting setup, she didn't have the right layer. And I was like, wow, it's just mental. She's a mate of mine. She didn't mind. She was like, I'm really struggling. I've not shot for a while and I can't get the light. But it was a dreadful light in there. It's like got orange walls, green floor. It was really dark. It was just like, but then it is interesting then looking in the breakdowns of the exposure and stuff in the filters you've used. You're right. You can learn quite a lot from just looking at what the AI element of that app has done. For sure.
Yeah, you could acquire a lot of information now that you could never acquire. It's just I don't know if I was going to run and get my light meter, right? But back in the day, you had a light meter, and hang on, I got it.
Go and get it.
You had a light meter, day, I'm gonna actually pull out my film meter. Wow, I haven't. Wow, I have shit. Look at this. Oh wow, isn't gonna get me to pull the shit off my wall. I All right. Okay, so back in the day, this is how this worked, right? So this was a. So when you did film, you had your cinemeter. This was
Oh
like
yeah,
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 I've seen these things.
film standard. Always had to be, as a
yeah.
cinematographer, always had to be hanging around your neck, and then boom, and then you would have you would have to set the ball comes off, and then if you got if you got fades on your lights, and so then boom, boom, boom,
Yeah, I
boom,
remember
boom.
that. My
You get
Yeah.
dad
it?
was a photographer, so I know exactly
Oh,
where you're talking
really?
about.
Was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a photographer. My dad owned a whole bunch of like photo labs all around like the tri-state.
Did
Okay.
he? Oh, wow.
Yeah. He
He
was the first person who had 30 minutes photo development in
Oh,
like the
God, that's
tri-state.
really
So he had
cool.
them all over the place. Yeah.
Well, then you know this one too. So this is a spot meter, and this is more for photography, because this
Yeah.
one you could you get spot meter, and so this is what we did back in the day with film. And I had a film camera first, and but now with digital, and I mean digital, I remember when digital came out, and it was just like no more developing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
And he
about.
went and he went out of
I
business after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
just digital, just digital. And then that's it. That's digital into Photoshop, and now I post, like I can post myself, and then and then that was the end of all the light meters,
Yeah.
and everybody stopped using the lights, the lighting, the light meters, and that's so. I've you shit, man. I have a lot of years under my belt.
Well, with studios, I've worked with a lot of photographers. Like quite often, I'd come up with a concept for like something, and there'd be like a photo style. And I'd do my mood board, and I'd be the nightmare that would walk into your studio as a graphic designer, going, "I want it like this," and you'd be like, "Have you any idea what's involved in getting?" I'm like, "What do you mean? This is what I want."
No,
Yeah, so I imagine I was quite challenging.
I actually hate taking pictures. I hate it with a
Yeah,
passion.
I love taking pictures. I wish I was better
I
at it.
hate it so much because I grew up around it my entire life. It was like my dad always
Right.
had his camera with him, so everywhere we went, it was like 1,000,000,000 pictures of like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But today, you can start a whole Instagram on just Miguel, bro.
No,
Yeah,
I
just
don't
me,
You know,
just me
want
and
it. I
various
don't
through
want
the years.
it.
I mean,
you would
my
have
father
Go
only
through the
Instagram.
years.
you'd
Jesus
have a shit ton of
Christ.
content, bro. You'd be like a new model influencer.
My mom and I are the same way. Like we taking pictures now because it was so much. It was we would go to the movies, pictures. We would go to eat at Burger King, pictures. We would go eat like walk around, pictures.
He
Go
needed
to
to.
the front of the I used to I grew up in New York, so I grew up in Manhattan. So we would come out of a building and it was like, pictures. It was crazy. Everything was pictures everywhere.
I love that.
Bro, there are people out there who hire professional photographers to
I don't
follow
wanna
them around.
To follow them around.
can't stand it. Just
You
can't.
know, you
I feel
you have one.
Yeah,
I feel like
sometimes.
that's what I am for my guinea pigs and my dog is basically their
You do
their
photo
professional
shoots. You do photo
photographer.
shoots with your.
Literally follow them around, just posting them on Instagram.
What you should like them up in little outfits and do professional photo shoots.
Well, I was only saying this on my space on Monday, like how my algorithm is like whatever has happened to my Instagram page, I'm getting no engagement. And yet Sansa can sit being cute in the back lane and get 79,000 views. I'm like, what the fuck? I need to start putting t-shirts on her. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll pin a few NFTs to her. I don't know. But
Yeah.
That's funny.
And you gotta be slick, I think, today. It's you could have great art, and if nobody sees it, and it takes a lot to get it out there,
Yeah.
but there's platforms for it, but you gotta be slick about how you do it. TikTok, you gotta be creative.
Yep.
Instagram, you gotta be creative. I think if you find one little like creative niche and you apply your art to that niche, or
Yeah.
you include that little thing, and that's why I tell people mess around with whips and it's a
All you need is that one video to go viral. That's it.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I
Yeah.
struggle with that though. I literally cannot get. I used to get amazing engagement on Instagram, and now I just
Yeah.
don't. I think,
I
Mark,
still
you advised me to get on TikTok. I think I need to do more on TikTok.
they go crazy every time I post an art video on Instagram.
Yeah, but I do that on Instagram, and everyone's like, "Yeah, another doll." Oh my god, it's either a
Sometimes
business.
I post
or
like,
a
damn
doll
it, it's
or a
here.
guinea
That's
Great.
funny.
Who invited this guy?
Funny. But I'm on your reef prints. These are really different to your portrait photography. I love it. Is this where you would your coral thing, or is this?
Yes.
These are beautiful.
Yeah, those are nice.
So I was doing 16, 18-hour days I changed my studio to a coral warehouse, and I went out to Indonesia for a month, and I had found contacts, I made deals, worked with, set up a little farm, and then grew coral.
Wow.
I never did it. They did it. You
love
got to get the locals to do it.
Right, okay.
And then from there, the locals apply for CITES permits. And then once they get the CITES permits, they apply the permits to the corals, and then they can ship the corals back here. And so how the industry works is they will ship. So really good stores will ship about 25,000 in coral. And they'll bring in about 125, 150 boxes, and they'll be in big chunks of coral and big colonies of coral. And so then they'll take those colonies and they'll put them in their displays, and they're lucky if 60% of them make it, but then they'll sell these pieces as a colony. And so I learned how to reef. It's called reefing, right? I learned how to reef up in Boston from the Boston Reefers. And I would go, they would have these days where you would go around to all their houses and check out everybody's reef tank and how they set it up, and really intricate stuff. These weren't all average fish tanks. They have wet and dries, they have protein skimmers, there's calcium reactors, all sorts of shit. You could program them through computer, program the wave. I've always loved fish tanks and reefing, but I never understood how to do it. And then I learned how to do it. And then and the way the Boston Reefers preach is buy a frag, right? Go to John's house, buy a frag of the coral for $5 or $10, support John, and then take this frag and grow the colony from the frag, and learn how to grow a colony in a little frag. So it's after learning this new way of reefing, you get a tank, and then you put all these little tiny corals in it, and these corals would grow in the colonies. Now, if you could get them to grow in the colonies, you knew what you were doing, and you learned along the way. But what happens is a lot of people just sell the big colony. And so a lot of people will end up killing the coral. And so they rape the reefs. And so I had, hang on. I created.
It's a big studio back there.
Yeah, it is a big studio.
I created a company called
Got Frags.
Got Frag. And so I started learning that I could take $5,000 worth of coral and get it out to the tri-state area in frags. And I could, where these guys are maybe flipping a piece of coral for, $100 or $150.
Wow.
I'm flipping a piece of coral for $3,000. Because I started fragging the shit out of these colonies, and then I would grow them and I'd heal them, and then I'd start shipping frags to everybody. And it ended up being a very lucrative business, but it was very time consuming.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I was miserable. I was just miserable sitting there cutting fucking corals and shit flying up my nose, and it was disgusting.
Oh my God.
I was really upset at the way the people just bought them and killed them. And
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
that's awful. That would upset me, that would.
Yeah.
so I'm like, bro, do you even know how to run a tent? And a lot of people come back and my corals died, and I'm like, and then stuff like, and now I understand why they did the frag thing, right? And so, what I did learn in that time period, to make a long story short, is that I applied my photography knowledge to my marketing. And I said, I bet you what people would do is they would put these corals under blue lights, and
Mhm.
the blue lights would give them a different look, a very
Yeah,
neon
yeah.
look.
Yeah, that looks
And
cool.
so when you buy them, they misrepresent the way these guys look. And so people would get pissed. They bring them back to their tank, they put them in their tank, and they don't look nothing like they were pictured. So I said, you know what? All I got to do is shoot these things really good, and they'll sell because they'll look like I know how to get them to look like they'll look when they buy them. So when they get them back home, they're not going to be upset. They're going to, and so in the process, I started shooting the corals, and I'm not bullshitting. Those photos made everything worthwhile
Oh, I can
because those
imagine.
Wow.
photos, yeah, they sold coral
That's
like no, because people knew what they were getting and they liked that and they could really see it. 7 years later, I'm sitting there and I'm like, fucking, these reef prints. This is
They're
like fine art.
beautiful.
It's
It
like,
is fine. Some of them are like super abstract, and then others have got
Yeah.
that real macro feel where you feel like you're in the middle of a tiny organism. And some of them are almost like
They're
alien,
amazing.
like, aren't they? Almost like another world.
Yeah, I
yes,
love it.
yes.
Yeah,
I'm
they make
very
me.
proud of this collection.
Yeah.
So then that's the first thought I had. I said, I'm going to take my reef prints and go into fine art. And I started knocking on gallery doors. And, I actually ran into, it was the Valentine Gallery.
Mhm.
Um, I just happened to get lucky. I don't believe in luck. I shouldn't say luck, but
No, it's hard work.
persistence, and I caught this guy at the right moment. And I was like, hey, can I show you a project? I feel like it belongs in this gallery. And he was like, sure. And I opened it up and I showed him all the reef prints. And he was like, you shot these? What are these? I said, it's coral. Yeah, I don't, here's, all right, whatever. What are you thinking about selling them at? And I was like, I don't know. I was thinking maybe like a nice big print for 1,800. He's like, 1,800. Look at my walls, man. Look at my walls. I met like I don't know if you ever saw Entourage.
Yeah.
I the Avi, is that his name? Ari. I met like the Ari of the art industry. He's like, look at my walls, man. Look, what do I got up there? Do I look like I got $1,800 art up? And he had like a Banksy for like 500,000.
Banksy.
Yeah, he had like a Mr. Brainwash for 80,000. He had this like, but I just loved the art. I never looked at the prices. I just felt like my shit fit. And I was just like, he was like, man, I'm thinking 18,000. And I'm like, you think you get 18,000 for these? He's like, I know I can get 18,000 for these. And I'm like, oh, you got a card or something that I could contact? So that was my shot. And unfortunately, he wanted me to print them at the time and send them. And my grandparents got sick, and I ended up,
Oh,
all my focus was on them. They
yeah.
actually ended up passing away that year. And so I said, when everything gets settled, we had some transfer and some stuff that I had to deal with. And that ended up being 3 years later. And then I ended up in the NFT world. And now finally, for the first time, I actually spoke to a couple people about this again, and I started getting it moving again. And so, yeah, that's reef prints for you. And
Oh,
that,
that's
that
stunning.
came out of that coral. I said, sitting in here, I got shit up my nose. I'm in here 16, 18 hours a day. I
Just
hate
putting
this. I
on.
hate it. And I'm like, I could sell coral for $10, or I could sell pictures of it for 18,000. I'm like, let's go knock on some
Let's do the
fucking
pictures.
gallery doors. I'm like,
That's
I would
crazy.
much rather be coming from the fine art world than I would the
Yeah.
coral world, because that's a
That's a good
long,
story, though.
long story short about the coral thing. I knocked so many stores out of business, and I thought I was cool, but finally a bigger player came along. He was, this guy turned out nice. He actually called all the farms, and he was spending 25,000 a week, and I was spending 5,000 a week. And he was just like, you better stop selling that. Oh, hold the good stuff back.
It's like the mafia of the coral world.
Yeah. Hold it. Yeah. Hold that good stuff back. Hold that good stuff back. Give it to him because he's blowing us all out of competition. Like they didn't like, and I knew how to see. You know what the real problem was? The real problem was I knew how to grow it. So like I took it, I brought it, I grew it. I wasn't dependent. So my costs were low. I could sell things low. I could move things fast. So like I never had these type of issues. And they didn't like that. They would just, move. I was messing with their money because they were moving big pieces. So this guy had an airline behind. He owned an airline. And Oculus or Octopus or Octa something. And so this airline is what funded his coral business. So he could spend more than me. So he told them, and now all of a sudden my corals weren't as sharp. And so how am I going to fucking compete now if I can't get the best stuff, And now I saw all the good stuff coming in. But, there's only so many corals in the sea. So, like, once you get them, you can grow them. And so my idea I wanted to do pools in South Carolina with big glass things and I had this whole plan. I wanted to buy used airport space and build used pools and grow coral and then use that as a hub and ship it to all these, almost like a Netflix. So you have a subscription. Yeah. And you just order your frags and your frags show up to your door and the fragging wagon comes and, I had this whole idea on how to ship the frags and have, the truck pulls up, they could go in and buy frags too. And, it's the closest thing to like being a crack addict with legalized, like if you're into reefing, like you're nuts. You got to get the best zoo, the best SPS, the best, it's just so coral junkies are crazy. So they'll show up at your house at like 3 a.m. after they just got off work. Like, you got anything, man?
Really? Oh my God.
Oh yeah. It's fucking crazy. Like, and so my door never closed. Like, I was all about making $500 in the middle of the night, like cash. Like I'm making more than I'm making doing professional shoots in they put. You got any corals, man? Got anything new? Shit.
I didn't know coral was such a thing.
Yeah.
Underground world.
It is like the
love it.
This is the best way I could describe
making me want to buy some corals.
I know. You've got your FOMO in, aren't you?
You know how sneakerheads get with like a new sneakerhead release?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the coral same way. Like you get like something nobody's ever seen before.
New coral.
I got them, bro. They're polyps.
New one.
Polyps come in on a rock of 300 polyps. And you get a rare polyp or something they never seen. And this is what goes on. Like people just get a rock and they'll name it whatever. And sell each polyp for like $80, $100. And there'll be a line out their fucking door. You can make almost $10,000 off of a rock that you wouldn't hear for like $65.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's they hated me. They hated me because they couldn't take pictures like me. They couldn't market like me. They hated me, and I was for the reefers. I was so bitter about how much money stores charged me and never taught me that I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do this for the reefers. I'm gonna just hook them all up, and I did. I hooked them all up with 10, 15. I didn't have any overhead. I had my studio, so I had no overhead. All I had to do was pay for electric and equipment. So I built this fucking insane coral growing farm and. It's just, and then this guy just got to the point, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not fighting with this guy. I'm not going to go back and forth with this guy. Like, I don't have the capital to compete. And so that's what knocked me out of that. So
that's insane.
That's a good story. I love that.
It's a brilliant story. It's something I didn't know about you at all. The coral thing. I had no idea. I knew you did your animals and all that kind of stuff. And I had no idea about the coral.
Yeah, coral is serious. If I told you, like, I'm telling you, meet them in dark alleys at like 3 a.m. Like, yo, I need you to meet me in the back door. I need you to knock twice, not 3 times, twice. My wife can't find out. All right, if she finds out that I just spent $350 on corals, I'm gonna be single. You understand? Like serious,
Drug
serious
world.
is serious shit, man.
Oh my God.
And if you got something that nobody's ever seen before, they'll camp outside your door, like, yo, let me get a frag of that. Like, let it heal, please. Give it another 2 weeks. Let me get a frag of that. How much you gonna sell? Yeah, it's just like it's they're out in the face. Is it ready yet? Is it ready? They're setting up tents, like they're something. So, but I never took advantage. Some people would sell shit for $300, something small as this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
I have no idea. Like, I feel like
it's such a reserved hobby too, and like they have these big reef swaps. And my last reef swap, like I brought models to, they almost had a heart attack. Not the guys, everybody that loved the models, right? Everybody was talking. Yo, what got Mark? It's like the reef people never, so like. Yeah, I was going straight mainstream with this. I had, Reef Simple. I had Got Frags. I was creating a site where everybody can post and sell their coral, and I had I had a whole business plan and I just, when I get knocked out of something, I get so frustrated when I can't match capital, because I never sell out. Like, I never bring in a money partner. Like, I never you bring in a partner and start arguing, and so I never trusted anybody enough.
No,
I get that. Yeah, so I was just like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. Like at the art world, fuck it, I'll do it myself. Just photography, fuck it, I'll do it myself. Like reef prints, I was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. So
yeah, I get that. I'm a little bit like that. I think it's when you're a little bit of a control freak, you're kind of like, I don't want to relinquish anything to anyone.
Like nobody's saying that I owe them anything.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people are fucking jerk offs. Like it's everything's fine until the money comes in. And the money starts coming in. It's like all of a sudden everything let me give it. Everybody wants to get involved more. Yeah. So it's like, and then people change. I put up this much work. I put fuck it. I'll do it. I'll go to the galleries myself. I'll fucking go to the islands myself. I'll go swimming. I'll find the coral myself. Like,
swimming.
It's so for me. But then you run into a guy who's got bigger pockets than you, and he turns out your fucking lights, and now all of a sudden it's like, damn, man, what did I do with all the people beneath me? And it was
yeah.
So I didn't have enough capital to play, so it was just like, what if I go sell some fine art prints for $18,000? I come back here and give this guy a run for his money. But like, I still didn't believe in his theory, but I had a plan where I was going to ship prints, reef. I was going to ship frag world, because that's the right way to learn. So
yeah, that's amazing. I did not. That was so unexpected when you sat and I said you sent some links, and I saw this. I was like, what is this? This is interesting. I was not expecting that. You've led such a rich life.
I got a lot more to go, Vic. I know.
I feel like that was like, I didn't mean
I got another 50 years. I got to accomplish. I got a lot of shit I promised didn't come through on. You know what I mean? Like, I take note of everything. I tell everyone and everything. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do. And then, a lot of times, that's why I always tell people, don't run your mouth. You run your mouth. You tell people you're going to do something. Next thing you know, you got 400 people in your fucking phone. Like, what happened? Were you going to do that? What happened? You said you were going to do it, right? So it's like, you learn your lesson, but like at the same time, I have a feature film sitting on a hard drive that I need to finish. I got so much photography work. Stopped in NFTs because it was like, this is it. I'm gonna be the next people, and so, and then 4 years later, it's just selling shit for 10 Tezos, and it's like, like shit. What happened to that people plan? Like, all right, go back to the fine art world, like, So, but no, I think there's, I'm not. I think that there's, for the right opportunity, the right time, I think the success is for anyone. I don't know if my success lies within NFTs. If it does, I haven't seen it clearly yet. I need to see it clearly. And when I see it clearly, I'm like, good. But I see. Oh, you know what I do see? I see marketplaces closing, and that makes me nervous. So
yeah, I think it's hard. It's the one of one. yeah, I think when you've got like a big collection with its own contract and you kind of, you know what I mean? You're not putting it on a third party website or place. It's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's tough out there for one artists, I think, because in some ways, I don't know how you feel about it, but like you were saying, selling something for 10 tears, the desperation
I
to
can't do it.
sell.
I can't
Well,
do it.
Yeah.
the desperation to sell and selling things for like a couple of tears is almost devaluing themselves as they go along just to get a sale, is how I've always felt about that personally. I know there's loads of artists who absolutely love selling those, and I can see that, but at the same time they're almost shooting themselves in the foot, because you can see the level of work that's gone into the piece and you think, what, and someone's paying $10 for it? That's crazy to me, like, you know.
It's so I think my issues is I know what I used to get paid to create. I knew my day rate at its best when I was in photography was $12,000 a day. But on
Wow.
average, to hire me would be like 3 to 4,000. But my best days were 12,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I knew, and then I bump into this guy at an art show, and he's like, "Let's sell him for 18K," and I'm like, "This guy right here thinks this photo is worth 18K. Let's get this photo on your wall."
Yeah.
And I have no problem going 50-50 on that sale, because I don't know if I have the ability or I have the contacts to make of a
That
print
happened.
for that type of money, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and you make that sale that's big on your repertoire, but like then you come into here. What got me excited about it was there were big sales going on, and now all I see is like the PFP projects doing very well. Like that seems to be the only thing that really maintains. It's like the metal warriors. Am I
Yeah,
saying that right?
it's the community element of it, I think, isn't it?
Right.
I think
Right.
that's what maybe the one of one art doesn't have. I don't know, because then you look at someone like you do these amazing community, and when you see these one of one communities, like, I mean, the FCU, we're a community of artists, we're a mixture of collections, one of one artists, editions, and I guess as a whole we're all pretty successful. But I think it is. I think in the Web3 space, a lot of people are moving around in communities, and that's kind of maybe what they're looking for. So they'll
Yeah.
maybe spend $200 on a PFP, but then a piece of art that is a one of one that is they won't spend $200 on. So I think it's the utility.
What do you attribute that to, though?
I do think it's the community and the utility. It's that being made to feel you're getting more than just the arts,
Mhm.
I
I
also
don't know.
I have yet to see flip value when it comes to art.
Yeah.
And if there's no flip value when it comes to the art, there's going to be no investors. There's going to be no people making money. There's going to be no money movement. There's going to be nothing, And if you don't have that in the ecosystem, then the art ain't going to go nowhere. And so,
No.
Yeah.
you buy a piece of art for $1. Can you sell it for $2?
No.
Can you sell it for $3?
Yeah.
So
Whereas
I don't know.
when it's a series of even like, even it's not necessarily PFP, but it's a collection of, say, 100 pieces,
Right.
then that seems to create that little FOMO if you
Right.
haven't got that piece
Yes.
in there, and then you might list it and you might double your money, triple your money. It's
Right.
even
Right.
if it's just a cheap sort of $10
Right.
mint, or but I feel like it's there's a couple of like lady in the FCW who I'd really love to get on the show, but they're too shy to, who are actually really successful as one of one artists. I think there's so much they could give to that community about how to utilize that. And I know you bring that up a lot in your shows, like with people who create things out of their art, and then they're not just like trying to survive just art,
Right. Right.
It's, it's
Go ahead, Vic. Go ahead, please.
no, it's just a really it's just a thing that I see in the space that I see as unresolved, that I feel like I can't quite understand.
So I don't want to say like I don't I so for me personally, my experience in the ecosystem in the world has been nothing but the best experience ever. Right, I've met some of the best people I've ever met in life. I look so forward to actually meeting them in real life, especially at NFT conferences, and I've look at how much fun everyone had. Look at how inspired everyone, right? But so there is, to me, the PFP projects. There's projects out there that are doing very well. You have 10,000 PFPs. You have flip value. These things. Project starts doing well. People are they're seeking these things. They that same energy has to be there for artists, and it's not.
I think with the PFPs, you've got trait chasing as well, haven't you? Like, so it'll be like, oh, I have to have the flame horns, or I have to have the laser eyes, and I don't know. I feel, because I think a lot of people who collect NFTs generally tend to be comic collectors, trading card collectors, pin collectors. They kind of have that mentality where they're chasing that rare one of one thing.
Right.
So I kind of, why isn't it enough if an artist creates a one of one piece that will just be theirs and it's unique?
Yeah.
But it doesn't hold the same pull, and I find that kind of.
Can you take that work of art, sell it again? And I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what causes the art world, and that's why I'm always chirping about have physicals.
Yeah,
whips. Go after. It's hey, if you create a whip or a shirt, and you go post on TikTok, and it goes viral. And your shirt, somebody buys it, and it ends up on stage on Rihanna or something. And the next thing you know, you get 100,000 sales. It's your art that was on that shirt that still made, $100,000, but yet you didn't sell the 1 out of 1 piece for 1,000 like you liked. You still gonna say no to that 100,000 in profit? Like the internet, so many opportunities to sell your art and get your art out there, whether it's Shopify or merchandise or
Etsy or anything.
The way you do the pins. And that's why I'm such a fan of everybody, because you got in the FW group, you guys all you focus on physicals. And then I see the digital end of it, and I'm just like, oh my God, offer a print. Just offer a print, get it printed. Offer a print with that sale, or start getting your work, because you look at all the real galleries, it's been 4 years, and I went to a Hamptons gallery show where all the galleries go, and I didn't see any TV screens with NFTs on them. I saw a lot of physicals. I saw physical photographs. I saw physical art. I saw physical glass. I saw physical canvases. I saw physical pictures, but I didn't see any screens with NFTs on them. And that worries me, because, these are the top galleries in the world. So if NFTs are really going to be a lucrative, why aren't they on the walls in there?
Yeah. It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because in some ways the NFT culture has made art like a million times more accessible, because there isn't a snobbery around it. I feel like, but maybe in the real world there's still a snobbery around art, and like a vector drawn, beautifully executed PFP is quite a skill. Like, to be able to create a simple image that is refined and you can tell what it is and it tells a story is quite. I think there's not enough respect given to that in the real world. Like, I think when I show people some of the things that exist that are NFTs, they don't get it, because they don't understand how difficult to get that to work in a tiny, tiny little thing, and it to be so perfect. I think so. I think there's still that is the big gap between the two art worlds in my mind, is that slightly not elevated enough, is it? It's too disposable feeling still, I guess. I don't know.
There's a lot of opportunity out there with social media, and I feel like if you look at the digital collectible world as a hand on the octopus, then you're going to be all right. But if it's the end all be all, you better be, you're going to have to go in there with a formula that works. Because obviously there are still people having success.
Yeah.
There's plenty of success there. And also what a great world. What great inspiration. What a great place, and to see artists supporting themselves. But the liquidity for the art, I don't know if it's there. I don't.
Yeah.
It might be there for some people, but it's not there for everybody. And so that's where I think artists have to get creative. There's lots of different outlets out there. You could stream making your art, and that
Yeah.
might take
Yeah.
off. There's so why as an artist you should be taking advantage of everything. And
Yeah.
it just might so end up that your stream does 10 times better than you selling art. Now you have a stream of income. You have a line of revenue coming in that's
Yeah.
based on your art, that which lead people to your art, which will then
Yeah.
create sales.
Yeah.
So a lot of the go ahead, Vic.
No, I totally agree. I was just gonna say I agree. I totally agree. It's how I've always done it that way around myself, because I never saw that people would want to buy my art. I was like, oh, but maybe they'd buy it if it was a greeting card or it
Right.
was a pin. You know what I mean? And then you look at like the time it take me. I had like one drawing which was like kissing skulls. And I cannot tell you how much money I took on that design for alternative wedding invites. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
I could never sold it. It was just a pen. It was just an ink and pencil drawing. You know what I mean? But I reproduced it. I hand embellished it. Hand put it on really nice card. Created really nice envelopes and like this whole. And before you know it, it's like that one little drawing that took you maybe 6 hours mucking around one afternoon has like earned you thousands of pounds.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You cannot, and that's where I feel like listen, throw a collection up there, jump in spaces, do what you need to do, see what happens. Right. I'm not saying don't take it, don't put yourself in play, but like, I feel like this is a part of it. It's not everything, there's a lot more out there, that can create a successful artist, so if you feel like this little scene is slow, pivot a little, look at merchandise, and like you said, a simple little artwork could be your bread and butter survival. And once you establish that survival payment, then it's like you don't really have to act desperate anymore.
No. You can, I think,
You know,
I do think there's definitely a lot. Like I say, I've heard you talk about this a lot on your community spaces and on your art spaces, and I think it's like really important for artists to sort of understand that, really, because I think especially now. I mean, me and Miguel have talked a lot about things like card games and merch and things like that, and I think the space is moving more towards bridging that Web 2, Web 3 gap with things like trading cards and kind of T-shirts and things like that. And I think you're crazy not to jump on that bandwagon. Really, it's not difficult to do.
You bring the right project here, and it's going to do great. So for me, bringing photos or artworks that I feel have a much higher value, I would put them at that value.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother me if they sold or didn't sell.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a project that I have in the back of my mind called Spray the World. I love airbrushing. I love graffiti. And so I had thought about creating like this magazine, like a touch magazine, not a digital magazine. And then I was thinking like maybe I would release 150 101s on Tezos, and I would do the math. And then I did the math, and it was like, okay, so I could print a magazine with the, I would almost release them like a collection.
Yeah.
You would be investing in a collection, but at the outcome of this investment would be you get the NFT, but then you get the magazine, and then you get to be a part of something that is building. And so, maybe now that brings that price to that NFT to $80 or $100, or maybe $50 or $20, and that's when you go from all right, maybe not 1,000, let's do 5,000. Let's work the numbers till you find the right price, the right number that fits into that scheme, and then I think build from there.
Yeah.
I don't know how many. It's just thoughts, right? So I don't know what would work and what doesn't. I don't know how much effort then got to build the community. That might be a lot for a lot of people. That might be but you still got to do that in the real world with your art, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree. I just wondered how you felt about the whole Tezo art thing, because it's just quite an
It's
interesting.
hard for me.
Yeah, I find it. Yeah.
It's like, and then it's hard because you spend a lot of time creating something and then you put it up and it's like, right?
Yeah.
I don't, no, who wants to feel that,
No. Yeah.
So I think like, okay, let's say I go to Newark or let's say I go to the Bronx and, here. So I was just test printing. So I'm like, you go shoot. Let's say you hit a graffiti high area where Brooklyn. So Brooklyn's a perfect example. You could drive around in Brooklyn and there'd be like walls and walls of great graffiti art.
Yeah.
You spend one day in Brooklyn, you can probably pop off maybe about 1,000 photos, right? Now you take those 1,000 photos and you make them a collection. That's works for a $10, $20, $30 sale.
Yeah.
When you have a whole day of shooting and 8 hours and it costs maybe $10,000, $15,000, makeup artists, you're gonna take that piece and then gonna put it on for $10.
No.
Like that's so it's what your art costs you have to recoup.
Yeah.
That's just good. That's just being you want to be a successful artist and a good budgeter. What your art could,
It's
most
not
people.
valuing your time, is it? Otherwise, you're not seeing your time as a commodity. If you're,
No, artists
you know what I
never
mean?
do.
So,
They
yeah.
never do. I never did in the beginning either. It's just I met, I talked to professional photographers and they're like, don't forget to bill for your click. And I'm like, bill for my what? Bill for the click. Do you bill for the click? And I'm like, yeah. So what the fuck are you talking about? Bill for the click. Your camera, it goes click, right? Every time your camera goes click, that's one less click on the camera life. And I'm like, now a body will be $3,500, right? So a good body will cost you up to 10,000.
Yeah.
Now it's like, how many clicks does a Canon have? And they'll tell you like Canon usually craps out at maybe 1,000,000 clicks. So like you're only getting so many. So you're basically billing for the wear and tear of your camera body.
Camera, yeah.
So that when no bullshit, I got a camera that fucking it stopped going click, right? And I'm sitting here like I don't have the funds to get a new body.
Yeah.
Bill for the click.
You didn't bill.
Like, so, it's like, and so now you talk to real photographers, you build for light bulbs, you build for clicks, you build for the camera body, you build for the time of the studio, you bill for your time. What's your time worth? You bill for post, you bill for if you don't know all this and oh man, I'm an artist, man, I take photos, I'm good at, it's just like I was really good with a camera, and so the beginning was like mind blowing because it was like, wait, I bill for what? And then you realize why your budget goes, how much. Then you don't have a problem saying it costs $8,000 to hire me for a day, and you could say it with a serious face because now it's like, break it down, no problem. Like there you go, it's what you work it out, and then when they read it. Oh, you're only making $150 an hour. Like that's what my time is worth at this moment in time. But like then you realize like where all the money goes in the shoot. You realize that there's 5 days post time. Like you can see this. You're not seeing 5 to. It's a really good story once, and probably a very well-known story, right? The guy hired the king has a machine and he hires a guy and the guy comes in and he gets a screwdriver. And there's a little screwdriver. Looks at the machine for like 6 hours to turns the screw maybe a half of, and then and the king's like, how much? And the guy's like 30,000. He's like, what? He's like, I thought this was that it took you maybe 10 minutes to fix that thing. And he was like, yeah, but it took a lifetime to learn how to do it. Right. So, you're paying for the lifetime of experience. You want my style. You want me to shoot for you. it took me almost 10 years to develop that style, but nobody
Yeah.
ever, you don't put
No
that
one thinks like
together as
that.
an
No,
artist.
they
Yeah.
don't.
You don't sit there with a stopwatch when you're creating art and you're like, go.
No.
It's, all right, that took me 6 hours. Nobody thinks like that. When you're creating, you're fucking you're happy, you're creating,
You're just
Yeah.
going, yeah.
Yeah,
being
sure.
an artist, artists are being artists. They're just happy that someone likes it. Someone fucking
I know. I think that's the
like,
problem, isn't it? We get more value as artists from somebody liking something than you do the
Right.
financial reward. But ultimately, that's what keeps you
we
alive.
don't create for money. We create because we love to create.
Yeah.
I'm not photographing I'm not photographing graffiti or because I'm expecting a payout from that. I'm photographing it because I love it. It's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that, Coral is the same thing. Like, the sale was on the back end, but still, it's like we're gonna have the best photos out of any company out there. I told all my guys, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Just watch, and just, and yeah."
Well,
I got
retro reckons he could imagine a coral frag unique mint. So maybe you should do them. Maybe you should mint the corals. Maybe.
I there came a point where I created collections from all of this, and okay. So wait. So my first experience, you know what? I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I joined the site, and you had to write a site and get accepted to it, and I got accepted to the site. I got the letter that said I was accepted, and the next day in my email, I got the next letter that said, "Don't mint anything. We're closing. Sorry." And I'm like, all right. And then you start to see this go on, right? And then it's like, maybe I should just learn how to do manifold and do my own contracts and
Yeah.
have them buy. So let me say something real quick. The people that I watched, like Drift Shoots or Beeple or Kath Simmert, these artists that had a lot of success with big sales in art, they also had the following with them. They had the people on Instagram. And so when you sell your art for a certain price, you're going to cast a net, right? And the bigger your net, the bigger the chance you might find a real collector with money. Because for some people, $1,000, $10,000, it's nothing. Their belief in you, buy this, man, buy all this art. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing for some people to spend that type of money. You have a big net, you cast a big net, you have more people.
Yeah.
So to me,
it's just a numbers game, isn't it? Ultimately,
right? Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. That's why I don't, it's luck, this, that bullshit. There's a formula. You reach enough people, somebody's gonna like your shit. You're gonna make a big sale. Once you make that big sale, every time I made a big booking, my number went up. It was in the beginning, it was $100 a shoot. Then it went to $200 a shoot. Then, when you started seeing me work with the celebrities, it went to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and it never went back. It always went up. It was a 5,000. And then when my art was being featured on, when my studio and I was on MTV and Spike and my art hit. When I went over the celebs and my art went out on TV and went mainstream, and everybody started seeing my studio and my question mark and on Spike Television Network, and they saw everything. It's a Spike Television Network. I had shot Christine Dolce, Forbidden, and she was in a competition. Spike, they do this thing, number one of everything, web queen, and she was going against Tila Tequila, and they wanted footage from my studio. And this is how you got to bob and weave sometimes, because it's like, well, what do you want to pay for that footage? And it's like, we don't have a budget. And I'm like, okay, so listen, you're going to make sure that you're going to get Christine and me shooting in front of a big question mark on the back screen of the Spike Television when she wins. He's like, we don't know who's going to win. When she wins, make sure my question mark plays. That's the deal we're doing. And you're going to give us the footage for free? I'm like, yes, I am. I have the clip on mini DV of.
Oh, you need to get all that uploaded.
I have that clip, and then my question mark was on Spike TV, and when everybody saw it, you could see the reflection social media. You could see the emails coming down. There was like 10,000. Like that's 11,000, 12,000. And so as the numbers kept going up and up and up, I'm not looking for a certain, I guess maybe now I would say collectors. Right now, now I'm specifically targeting, and so that's where I think artists miss, because who likes to do the social media shit? Nobody. Who likes the posting and the got to get back on, and
it's definitely hard.
Yeah, it's hard to fit it in when it'd be all right. Like because I actually quite enjoy I quite like branding, so I quite like being consistent, and I like coming up with the posts and the tone of voice and having a strong message. But
you're good at it, Vic.
But it's the time that I hate. When I'm busy, like this week, I've had a very busy week with work, and then before I know it, I've not done a post on Instagram today. I've not been and done my GMs till o'clock, and you're like, damn, I'd have posted probably 3 times already by the time I've done one. So.
I didn't know what to do. I was gonna write you and be like, yo, Vic, should I just post this and like it's my own show and I'll stream? And I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys before the show, but my plan was like to do posts and stream, and it just, I didn't know what to do.
It's hard. It's really hard.
It takes a lot of
the day will run away with you before you know it. And especially, if all you have to do was focus on promoting yourself. That's like a whole other game.
Yeah, you spend half your day creating the art. You're going to spend the other half of it promoting it.
Yeah,
that's why you gotta have a niche. You gotta have a little something's got to click, and then once it ride that thing until the momentum fails, and then you got to jump to another. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's. I have Snapchats. So how the show, the HOP show started because I was on Snapchat, and I thought Snapchat was like the greatest social media ever. Snapchat was like these, you could snap and make movies and stories. And faces and all that. And I was like, I love Snapchat. I love Snap. And at the time I was taking care of my grandparents. And so I would sit there and I would make these Snapchat movies of my grandparents. And next thing I know, all my friends are like, yo, these are hilarious. These are some of the funniest things I've ever seen. They're like, yo, you got to put this on Facebook. You got to put it on IG. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I went to Thailand. I made this whole movie of me in Thailand, but I wasn't editing it. I was just doing it in snaps, hitting and stopping, hitting and stopping. And so all of a sudden, everybody's like, yo, you got to do a show. You're really good at this shit. Like, you got to do it. And then that's how I hit the live. And then 9 years later, that's how HOP came to be. Because it was like, you got to do it, get on a live. But I have all of this footage still saved. So, my thought process is I might bring all this stuff back and start just posting 30-second clips on TikTok. I don't care how you get
reels. Yeah.
I don't care how you get to know me. I don't care if my grandparents bring me in 1,000. If my grandparents bring me in 1 million fans, do you think that bothers me? You think I'm going to say no to that? Like, flipping on them and start posting art. And like, what the fuck is this? Put the old people back on.
Put the crazy old people back on.
So in the very beginning, to promote the show, I created this thing called Mouseville. And so I was only streaming on Facebook. And then I said, let me try to stream the Twitch 24/7. I can't stream, like, I'm not going to be here. What am I going to show when I'm not here? So I'm like, let me think of something really cool. So I built this fish tank, and I watch properties, and so the tenants occasionally have mice. So I told all the tenants, anybody catches a mouse, use a sticky pad. Don't kill it. Call me. So now, next thing I know, I get one mouse. It's like stuck in a trap. I said, what'd I tell you about fucking? Listen, this is my house. I don't want mice in my, right? So now I got this mouse on a trap, and it's got a broken arm. Like, the arm is the lever came down on. So his name was Lefty. Lost the arm, but I threw Lefty in the tank, and then I got another call. It's like, I got one on a sticky pad. It's in the trash pail, and open up the trash pail. There's this little mouse stuck in it. I'm gonna grab it. Now, if you pour vinegar, olive oil. Sorry, if you pour olive oil on a sticky trap, mouse or rat come right off. So boom, second one in the tank, right? I close the tank. And the next thing I know, I had like 32 mice. So I was like, why don't I fucking spinning wheel in here, and I'm gonna put this in. Now I started, and I made a fucking cardboard like a pirate ship, and I got them walking off the plank, And so now I take the mice, I put all the mice in front of the camera, and I start running my Twitch channel, right? And the only time my Twitch channel comes live is for the show, but now everybody is watching mice. So now I get like 100 followers off of mice, and next thing I know, I'm like, all right, time to hit them with the show. Boom! I turned the show on, and I got comments underneath the show like, "Put the fucking mice. What is this shit? I don't care about you and your fucking art. Put the mice back on." And I'm reading these comments, and I'm like, they like the mice more than they like the art. Like this is, you know what? Fuck. Like, you hit follow, you know what I mean? Like Mouseville will be coming back right after the show, So,
yeah, that's brilliant. I love it. It's absolutely hilarious.
So
oh my god,
the internet is a funny place.
It is a funny.
You got to be creative with it, But if the mice bring in the fans, at 8, 9 o'clock on Monday nights, they're going to be in for a surprise when Mouseville starts turning into the hour of power. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. So, but you got to bring views to your art. It doesn't matter how you do it. You got to be creative about it. So you look at all these AI guys capitalizing, cutting this invisible jello, invisible fruits, and now you're on TikTok, and it's like Miguel said, you get one thing to go viral, and next thing you know, you just need 1,000 people. That's it. You don't need 1 million. You don't need 2 million. 1,000 will get you your million. You just need 1,000 people who stand by you, support, hit that retweet, and you get that 1,000. They'll get that. They'll get the video. They'll get the art. They'll get everything out there. So you could succeed at anything. I'm not trying to be negative at all. I'm just saying that you got to read the room, and so
yeah,
definitely. Oh, it's been absolutely amazing hanging out with you, Mark. I could talk to you all night. You're so interesting, and you've done so much. You're very wise as well.
That's a lot of years of failure. I have a bit of stubbornness in me, but let me tell you, if I speak from experience, that's the only time I open my mouth is when I speak from experience. If I don't know, I don't talk. I used to talk. There's people who know everything, but now there's AI, right? So it's like, it's life experience is probably the most. A lot of people, I had all these losses in life, but like, were they losses or you learn from them? Life is not over. So people, I'm 50, right? So that's old. That's a lot of bullshit. Like, I'll have my brain in a fishbowl on top of my metallic body that'll be half cyber, and I'd be like, I'm here to create art. You know what I mean? And I'll be doing this 50 years from now. So the way we're headed, like, so my thought process is like, it ain't over. Like it's never over. Like, get on the internet.
Never.
There's a plumber on TikTok. This guy's got like 400,000 following. All he does is make these videos of, today we went in, and people, they love his narration. He found the little thing that worked for him. And now his wife's got a swimsuit calendar, and they're pitching it through their TikTok shop, and now they're making a living. And now he has his own plumbing company. And from what? He's making plumbing videos. So I don't want to hear about how it's difficult. Everybody, it's so difficult to be an artist. Bullshit. Find a way.
Loads of content, right? It's just
find a way. Yeah. The stupidest things go viral out there. A guy sells potatoes. He makes $1 million a day because he writes. He writes. You can call this guy in Idaho. He had nothing to do with his potatoes. He had all these leftover potatoes. You can call him up, and you can say, "Hey, do me a favor. I want to send Vic a potato, and just." So how's it going, Vic? All right, thank you. So he'll write on the potato, "Hey, Vic, how's it going, Mark?" And he'll put the potato in a box, and he'll ship the potato to you. But you pay for that service. You'll get a potato in the mail, and it'll be a message from me. Hey, Mark said hello.
It's just so weird, right?
Right? And this guy's making fucking millions. So I don't want to hear nothing about it.
That's how they do.
Yeah.
We've been going for almost 2 hours now.
Everybody's like,
Oh,
it's so
God.
difficult to be an artist. Bullshit. Find
Find a potato.
Yeah, find a potato. Right. Start writing on carrots. I don't. Well, look at the guys who carve the pencils.
I know.
And they get to the lead, and there's like the lock and the chain. Millions and millions. They might never sell that pencil, but I guarantee you, they made probably 330,000 off that video and web revenue.
Yeah,
Probably,
100%. Yeah.
So, to me,
Sure.
find a way. And you can be an artist a lot of different ways. You don't have to give up. Just don't put yourself in a desperate position.
No. Yeah.
You put yourself in a desperate position. Now you're taking jobs you don't want to take. Now you're sitting there fucking, now you're artist sacrificing because you do something you don't want to do. Always do what you want to do. Just find a way to fund it,
Yeah. That's very good advice indeed. It's it's really cool. Well, we're going to have to wrap up because I got to go to bed. It's like nearly 1 a.m. for me.
I want to keep the UK up, Vic.
You know me, I'm always up.
The work day tomorrow.
But yeah, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all your stories, and like I learned a lot about coral. I didn't know it was so cutthroat, but it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully we'll have you on again. It's been amazing. Thanks for joining us.
I had a great time. It was great to meet you, Miguel. And
likewise, yeah, man, we got to talk again.
I had and you're more than welcome to pop on my show if you want.
Oh yeah, you should go on.
I just followed you on X.
If I don't know your page, but you're more than welcome to pop on my show. We could set you up with a spotlight show Monday or Friday, whatever works for you. But you're more than welcome. I want to thank you guys for having me on. I want to thank both of you guys for having me on. You guys have been great hosts. I wanted to make the show entertaining, so it
was fun. It was really good. It was really good fun. So yeah. So we're gonna.
I never get a chance to shoot the shit, so I appreciate it. Usually the one I'm sitting there like,
I know you're normally the one.
I saw that. Tell me about that thought. Usually I'm the one that's.
You're really good at that, though.
The other way around.
I'm still learning, but yeah. Well, thanks so much. We're going to wrap the show up now. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Miguel, have you got any final thoughts?
No, just thank you to Mark again for coming to the show and, giving us some of his knowledge from back in the days and his MySpace, bringing back memories. Now you're going to make me go buy coral. Like there's all these things on my mind.
Let me tell you, I love that world, man. I love that coral world. It really is a different type of world. They weren't ready for me, man.
No.
They wanted me out.
They're not ready for me
the
right
minute
now.
I walked in with the models, and the models had the coral on display. That's it. Like the whole place. This is a family.
I'm going to be in corners trying to get coral now.
Yeah, dark corners, dark alleys.
Yeah, Miguel's going to be like, yo, man, give me 2 of the blues, 3 of the greens. Yeah. I used to there was a certain particular type of nationality that would show up at my door, and they'd be like, I got to watch how I do the accent. I don't want to
you don't want to give it away?
Like, let me get 10 of those. And I'm like, what are you doing with the other 9? Are you flipping my coral? And I always catch guys flipping my coral. And I would have to ask. I'd be like, are you trying to resell my coral? I'd see their post, and I'm like, that's it. You're banned. You're banned from the coral buying. That's it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a wild world, man.
Well, we'll bring you back in the show. We'll talk more about more NFTs this time, more digital stuff. And looking forward to talking to you again.
Guys, thank you so much. I had a great time.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Right, guys, we shall catch you next week at the same time. I think it's just us you next week, isn't it, Miguel? I think we're going to have like a little Luna Witchy Revenant kind of chill out, catch up. So it's been amazing. Thanks everyone for joining, and catch you again next week. Good night, guys.
Yeah, thank you to everybody in the box. I'm seeing you guys now. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.